for example, God forbid, and I told you I'm 45, if I start having some left chest pains and I start tickering over here, hopefully you'll try to catch me. Hopefully you'll all run me over to Olathe Medical Center. They have a really good cardiovascular program there. And they're going to have me come in, they're going to say, okay, 45-year-old guy, drinking caffeine, probably under stress, they're going to work me up for an MI. Normally they can look at you, do an EKG and a chest x-ray, they'd send you on through, but they're going to do troponin levels, they're going to run this test, that test. Do you want to know why? They're scared to death of getting sued. The American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons did a study a few years ago. The average family pays about $2,000 a year because of defensive medicine. Multiply that by the 100 million families in this country, you're talking billions and billions of dollars. The medical malpractice, if you could help take care of some of those issues, there'd be more competition. Just for example, buying health insurance like you buy for your car. Wouldn't that be easier if you could pick out what deductible you wanted and just let the free market take care of a lot of these things? That's the problem. This was never about the free market. This was about government takeover medicine. If I can feel free to talk about the story, we're going to a place what Great Britain already has. We're going to a place where our Indian reservation in this great country have. Pine Ridge Indian Reservation up in South Dakota, right on the borders of Shannon and Todd County. #1 and #3 most impoverished counties in the entire country. Life expectancy for a guy there is 41 years of age. The only person alive would be you and you, Peter. All of us, you two, sir, would be gone. And why is that? Because they have socialized medicine there. I brought up England. You've all heard of the National Institute of Clinical Excellence. It's called NICE. I like to joke that NICE isn't nice. There's a life-saving drug out there called Rysavy, which the people over in Great Britain delayed for a few years because it costs too much money. But for example, if you have a lady that has breast cancer that hasn't got out of the barn, non-metastatic disease, you can help them 50% of the time, never have to worry about that disease going on ever again in their lifetime. Well, let me tell you, that disease hits people around 40 years of age. I don't know of a single husband or son, father, that wouldn't shell out $40,000, $50,000 for their mother, their wife, or their grandmother, what have you, to live for an extra 40 years. That's your decision, not the government's decision to pay winners and losers. Or pick winners and losers. Right.
That's what Obama said. Just give her a pill.
Give her a pill, or make $10,000 to $30,000 to do an amputation. I'm sorry, this guy does not get it. The health care, you can't take $500 billion from Medicare and expect it to do what it needs to do. There's free market things we need to do, and health care is one of the biggest things on a lot of people's minds, and we need to fix it. We need to fix it now.
Just like in Obamacare that he's talking about, that there is no stipulation in there whatsoever for tort reform and for the lawyers. Why it costs so much is because they have to cover themselves because they're afraid they're going to be sued. Along that same line is this federal regulation bill that we talked about here a little bit today too. There is absolutely nothing in that bill to control Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac either. Nothing. Nothing. They are protecting their own. This is not a rule of law in this country anymore. It is a rule of the special interest, the rule of man, and special people, the chosen people that they want. They have gotten away from the Constitution and the rule of law. That Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac is basically, the government now owns our homes. 98%, it's right at, correct me if I'm wrong, 98% of the homes in America, it's teetering at that right now, are going to be owned, or have the mortgages with them. And there is absolutely no control on them whatsoever. It is all going to them, bailouts and more money. They have an open checkbook. We have got to get people in there who are going to stop this.
One last point.
It's unsustainable.
This is going to dovetail what you just said. The way to fix healthcare is to make the people in Washington, direction-wise, the people in Washington, D.C. abide by the same rules that we have here. Right now, there's 40,000 to 50,000 people in Capitol Hill that don't have to worry about this healthcare plan. They have their own healthcare plan. It's the hypocrisy of these people. For example, Ted Kennedy, God rest his soul, he passed away from brain cancer. Something I would never, ever want to have. But my golly, he was a profound proponent for national health care. Guess what? When he came down with his brain cancer, did he go to the south side of Boston? No, he went to Duke University. First in line for clinical protocol that would take you and I a long time for. Us guys in here, most of us are going to experience prostate cancer sometime in our life if we live long enough. Senator Chris Dodd gets diagnosed with prostate cancer. My understanding, less than a week later, he's at Memorial Sloan Kettering getting a surgery. I can promise you one thing, it would take all of us guys a heck of a lot longer than that to get there. The fact of the matter is, we all need to be on the same page. And when Congress is on the same page as you are for your health care, that's when problems will get solved. Social Security, you think that would be fixed yesterday if they were on Social Security? Yeah.
But John, the health care bill's been passed and it's a fait accompli according to them.
Well,
I mean,
there's gonna be a new sheriff in town, I can tell you that.
Dovetailing on sort of that, the Brown Deck people back here, Yvonne and I remember when we went to a town hall at Olathe, and Senator Brownback got up, and this is when and we're going to vote for Senator Brownback because I like him more than I don't like him. And I probably have that feeling, express it somewhat differently about Dr. Calder. Notwithstanding that fact. Collier. He gets up, Brownback gets up, and starts addressing this thing in politics as usual. My good friend, Bernie Sanders. I wouldn't live it. I told him so.
He's a plain
Socialist.
socialist.
I don't want to hear politics as usual. We went to Brownback's,
Yeah, if you want to use the word fight, we expect you to
we
fight.
went to his groundbreaking announcement and so forth. But there's certain things that everybody doesn't like about everybody that's running. But we have to link and try and draw ourselves together. But to this day, I'm just livid over Brownback getting up there and telling me, crossing the aisle, I don't want to hear about a John McCain type deal anymore. I don't want to hear about that.
Yeah, look where it's gotten us. Look where it's gotten us.
We
We're
get all this
always
deal about-
compromising, always
We
negotiating,
get all
always
this
being
deal about
nice.
Todd T. Hart, and I'm jumping around here a little bit. Sarah Palin, we love Sarah. I've got my picture, almost $250 pictures taken with her. And I got so excited, I went back and got her husband. So we haven't got him yet. You got to know somebody spend enough money to have him. So if T. Hart has this drive with Sarah, the magic doesn't always work. But I think what you ought to do, I said this to you before, you're a dapper young 45-year-old former wrestler, fairly good physique, not as good as you used to be. But you got
Speaks
you got 6 kids, we can get you in better shape. But I think you ought to have a plan B, because I agree with you that you're probably coming down the stretch with Leitner, Yoder, and yourself. But just look at the pack, notwithstanding Craig McPherson, who's another graduate attorney, just came out of the mix. But, you know, you're going to have to probably do something outlandish. You're going to have to throw a long ball. You're going to just really have to do something, because I'm not sure you're going to be able to draw fire from Nurse Cratchit. That's code name Moore's second. But who flew over the cuckoo's nest? But I still think you got to do something. We're trying to draw, and I've told you before, you're married to a nurse, a younger nurse. I don't know rank-wise what was the same or not, but somebody ought to have some ability to trip her up more light and get somebody to get something lined up. Get your wife to stand in as a surrogate for her. Do something. You know what? We know all the things you stand about,
Sure.
and they're all good. They're all good. There's not anything wrong with it. The fair tax is a great issue. All the tax things. But it's just another tool in the box. We've got to get you there first.
Amen. And I think, to your point, the end result is somebody who can beat Stephanie Moore in Congress. And to your point, we've already started working on this debate.